Have you ever had a day where you think of an old friend you haven't seen in years, and then you bump into them at the grocery store that very afternoon? Or you're wrestling with a problem, and the answer suddenly appears on a billboard, in a song lyric on the radio, or in a random conversation you overhear. We call these moments coincidences, chalk them up to chance, and move on. But what if they aren't random at all? What if these meaningful coincidences, these synchronicities, are actually the universe whispering back to you? What if they are proof that your reality is not a chaotic series of random events happening to you, but a rich, intelligent tapestry that is in constant, dynamic dialogue with your own consciousness? The greatest illusion you have been taught is that the world outside of you is separate, solid, and objective. You have been conditioned to believe that you are a small, powerless being, a victim of circumstances, reacting to a world that dictates your feelings and your fate. But the mystics of old and the quantum physicists of today are converging on a revolutionary truth. The world is not separate from you. It is a mirror reflecting the state of your own awareness. Every person you meet, every situation you encounter, every synchronicity that makes you pause and wonder, is a direct feedback signal from a unified field of consciousness. You are not simply living in the universe. The universe is living through you. Understanding this dialogue is the key to moving from a life of reaction to a life of conscious creation. It's time to stop seeing reality as something you must endure and start recognizing it as something you are continuously generating. The solution, then, is to consciously change the conversation you are having with the universe. And you do this not by shouting affirmations into the void or by struggling to control the external world, but by fundamentally altering your internal state of being. The spiritual teacher Neville Goddard gave us the most direct and powerful key to this process: living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is not wishful thinking. It is the profound act of assuming the emotional state, the frequency, of your desire as if it were already a present fact. You do not hope for it. You inhabit it. You feel the relief, the joy, the security of your goal being accomplished right now when you successfully occupy this new state of consciousness. A fascinating process begins. Goddard called it the bridge of incidence. The universe, which is nothing more than consciousness objectified, must rearrange itself to match your new inner reality. It does this by orchestrating a series of seemingly natural and coincidental events, people and opportunities that lead you, step by step, to the physical manifestation of your desire. The job offer that comes out of the blue, the chance meeting with a future partner, the unexpected check in the mail, these are not random luck. They are the individual planks in the bridge you built with your own feeling state. Synchronicity, in this context, becomes the confirmation. It is the universe nodding back at you, saying, "Yes, I have received your new frequency. The bridge is under construction. Keep the faith. You are not manipulating the outside. You are aligning the inside, and the outside has no choice but to follow. This is a law of consciousness, as immutable as the law of gravity. So why does this feel so difficult? If creating our reality is simply a matter of changing our inner state, why isn't everyone living their dream life? The answer lies deep within the architecture of your mind. Neuroscience reveals that about 95% of your daily thoughts, behaviors, and emotional reactions are governed not by your conscious mind, but by your subconscious. Your subconscious is a vast archive of your past experiences, particularly the ones charged with strong emotion. It's a set of programs that run on autopilot. For most of us, these programs were written in childhood and are based on limitation, fear, and a sense of being a victim to the world. Your current identity is a composite of these subconscious programs. If you have consistently felt unworthy, your subconscious will tirelessly filter reality to find evidence of your unworthiness. If you have a deep-seated belief in struggle, it will orchestrate scenarios that require you to struggle. You may consciously desire wealth, but if your subconscious is programmed with a frequency of lack, a program built from years of hearing, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or feeling the anxiety of unpaid bills, That feeling of lack is the signal you are constantly broadcasting. Your conscious desire is a tiny whisper, while your subconscious programming is a deafening roar. To change your reality, you cannot just change your thoughts. You must rewrite the fundamental programs and recondition the emotional memories that define your identity. You must go to the root and become, at a subconscious level, the person who naturally has what you desire. This is where we move from theory into powerful practical application. To recondition the subconscious mind, you must learn to speak its language, which is the language of feeling and imagery, especially in receptive brainwave states. One of the most potent techniques for this, taught by Neville Goddard, is called revision. At the end of your day, you review the events that unfolded. If any part of the day was unpleasant, disappointing, or triggered a negative emotional response, you don't just ignore it. You rewrite it. In your imagination, you vividly replay the scene as you wished it had happened. You don't just see it differently. You feel the emotions of the revised scene. You feel the joy of the congratulatory phone call instead of the rejection. You feel the harmony of the conversation instead of the argument. By doing this, you are neutralizing the negative emotional charge of the memory and feeding your subconscious a new experience. Over time, this practice stops reinforcing old negative patterns and begins building new neural pathways based on success, harmony, and fulfillment. Another critical tool is leveraging the hypnagogic state, or what Neville called the state akin to sleep, SATS. This is that magical, drowsy window of time just before you fall asleep and just as you are waking up. In this state, your brainwaves shift from the active beta state to the slower alpha and theta states. Your conscious, analytical mind goes quiet, and the gateway to your subconscious swings wide open. This is the fertile ground where you plant the seeds of your new reality. As you lie in this relaxed state, you bring to mind a short scene that would imply your wish is already fulfilled. Not the process of getting it, but a single moment after it has happened. If you desire healing, you might feel yourself joyfully doing something you couldn't do before. If you desire abundance, you might feel the quiet satisfaction of looking at your healthy bank balance. You loop this short, feeling-drenched scene over and over until it feels real, until you drift off to sleep steeped in the emotion of fulfillment. You are impregnating your deeper mind with a new truth that it will then work to objectify as your reality. Now, let's connect these practices to the very fabric of reality as understood by quantum physics. The famous double-slit experiment revealed a mind-bending truth. The fundamental particles that make up our world exist as waves of pure potential until they are observed. It is the act of observation, of consciousness interacting with the field, that collapses the wave of infinite possibilities into a single specific particle, a single experience of reality. You are that observer. Every moment, with your focus and your feeling, you are collapsing the quantum field of infinite potential into the life you are experiencing. You are not discovering a pre-existing reality. You are selecting it from an infinite menu of possibilities. When you live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are tuning your observational capacity to a specific potential in the field. You are telling the universe, of all the realities possible, this is the one I am collapsing into form. This process is driven by the immutable laws of energy, frequency, and vibration. Everything in the universe, including you, is energy vibrating at a certain frequency. Your emotions are the indicators of your personal vibration. Fear, doubt, and shame are low, chaotic frequencies. Love, joy, and gratitude are high, coherent frequencies. Quantum mechanics shows us the principle of resonance, the tendency of a system to oscillate with greater amplitude at some frequencies than at others. When you maintain a consistent feeling state, a consistent frequency, you begin to resonate with people, opportunities, and events that are on that same frequency. The unified field isn't judging you, it's simply matching you. It mirrors your dominant vibration. This is why a state of chronic worry attracts more things to worry about, while a state of genuine gratitude attracts more things to be grateful for. You are a living, breathing tuning fork, and your reality can only vibrate in harmony with your being. Epigenetics provides biological proof of this principle. Dr. Bruce Lipton's research shows that it's not our genes that control our destiny, but our perception of the environment that controls our genetic activity. A change in your perception, in your emotional state, sends a different chemical signal to your cells, which can activate or deactivate certain genes. If your feelings can rewrite your biological expression, imagine what they can do to the energetic field that shapes your external world. This is not New Age philosophy. This is the oldest wisdom, echoed in all great spiritual traditions. Vedanta tells us that consciousness, or Brahman, is the only reality. The Bible states, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." The message is the same. Your state of being is the creative cause of your experience. So, how do you integrate this profound truth into your daily life? The key is to begin living from the end, not for the end. This means you stop looking outside of yourself for validation that your desire is coming. The 3D world, what Neville called Caesar's world, is a shadow. It is the delayed reflection of your past consciousness. To react to it, to let it dictate your feelings, is to keep recreating the past. Your work is internal. Throughout your day, you must consciously and deliberately return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. When you're driving, when you're washing dishes, when you're in a meeting, ask yourself, how would I feel right now if my dream were my reality? And then, generate that feeling. Embody that state. This is not about ignoring problems. It's about refusing to give your creative power to them. You give your attention and feeling to the reality you are choosing to create. This is your first call to action. I want you to pause and identify one limiting story you have been telling yourself. A story about your health, your finances, or your relationships. A story that produces a feeling of lack or fear. Now, decide on the new story you want to live. What is the feeling of that new reality? Is it security? Is it freedom? Is it love? Your task, starting today, is to practice embodying that new feeling as often as possible. I invite you to share your commitment in the comments below. Declare the old story you are releasing and the new emotional reality you are stepping into. By writing it down, you are taking the first step in making it your dominant state of being. As you commit to this practice, you will inevitably face challenges. The biggest among them will be doubt. Your senses will present you with evidence that contradicts your new inner state. The bill will still arrive. The person may not call back immediately. This is the critical testing point. This is where most people falter. They see the old reality and conclude, it's not working, and immediately drop back into their old state of being, thus aborting the manifestation. You must understand that the 3D world has a time lag. It's like a ship. It takes time to turn its course after the captain has turned the wheel. Your persistence in your new assumption is what keeps the wheel turned. This is where you must learn to correctly interpret synchronicity. Those meaningful coincidences are not the final destination. They are the confirming signals from the quantum field. They are the road signs appearing along the bridge of incidents, telling you that you are on the right path. When you start thinking from a state of abundance and suddenly find a $20 bill on the street, don't dismiss it. Recognize it as a wink from the universe. Acknowledge it, feel gratitude for it, and see it as proof that the field is responding to your new frequency. These synchronicities are designed to bolster your faith during the inevitable time lag. They are evidence that your inner shift is beginning to objectify in the outer world. The ultimate state to cultivate is what Neville called the Sabbath, a state of mental rest. It is a quiet, confident knowing that it is done. You no longer feel the need to strive or check for results because you have so successfully inhabited the feeling of the wish fulfilled that it feels more real than your current circumstances. Doubt may knock on your door, but you don't have to invite it in for tea. You simply acknowledge it as a remnant of the old state and gently return your focus to the feeling of your wish already being a fact. You are standing at a pivotal crossroads of understanding. For too long, Humanity has lived under the hypnosis of a random, material universe where we are merely helpless spectators. But the convergence of ancient wisdom and modern science is awakening us to a much grander truth. You are not a victim of reality. You are its source. Your consciousness is the creative power that animates the universe, and your feeling state is the brush with which you paint your experience onto the canvas of the quantum field. The life you are experiencing is a perfect, non-judgmental mirror of your dominant state of being. If you wish to change the reflection, you must be willing to become the person in the mirror first. Synchronicity is the beautiful, intimate language of this divine dialogue. It is the universe's way of showing you that it is listening, that it is responding to the frequency of your being. It is the evidence that the bridge of incidents is forming beneath your feet. Stop waiting for the world to change to give you permission to feel good. You must feel good first. You must assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and walk in that assumption. This is not about spiritual bypassing or ignoring the challenges of life. It is about recognizing that your inner state is the most powerful causative force you possess. It is about remembering that you are not a human being having a spiritual experience, but a spiritual being having a human experience, endowed with the divine power to create. So, I urge you to begin tonight. Choose one desire. Define the feeling of its fulfillment, and as you drift into that receptive state of sleep, immerse yourself in that feeling. Live in it. Practice it daily. Your new reality is not something you need to chase. It is something you must allow by becoming an energetic match for it. Subscribe to this channel to continue your journey of remembering your true creative power. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that they are not a victim of their circumstances, but the master of their destiny. Your reality is in a constant conversation with you. It's time you started leading the dialogue.